"My name is Ari," I whispered to my reflection in the polished tray. "Ari, 63 years old, and tonight I finally understand my place in this house." But to truly understand that moment, you need to walk with me through the life that led to it. The house I built with my life. This house wasn't made of bricks. It was made of sacrifices. Every wall carried a memory. Every corner held a story. I built it when I was young, strong, and full of dreams. I remember working under the burning sun, hands rough, back aching, but heart determined. My wife used to bring me water and smile, saying, "One day this house will be full of laughter." And it was. For many years, it truly was. My son grew up here. Then his son, my grandson, filled these halls with innocent laughter. I still remember holding him in my arms for the first time, promising silently, "I will give you everything I never had." And I did. Education, comfort, stability. I gave them a life so easy that perhaps they never learned the value of it. When respect quietly fades, respect doesn't disappear overnight. It fades slowly, like sunlight at dusk. At first it was small things. They stopped asking my opinion. Then they stopped including me in conversations. Then they stopped noticing me altogether. I told myself it's okay, times change, people get busy. But deep down I felt it. I was no longer the head of the family. I wasn't even part of it. I had become convenient. The night of the celebration. The house was glowing that evening. Golden lights wrapped around the walls. Soft music floated through the air. The scent of rich food filled every room. Guests arrived in expensive clothes, their laughter echoing like music. It was my grandson's anniversary. A big celebration. And I was somewhere in the background. I wore my clean white kurta, the same one I saved for special occasions. I wanted to look presentable, not for them, but for myself. Still, no one noticed. I found myself in the kitchen arranging snacks on trays, carrying drinks, cleaning small spills. No one asked me to, but no one stopped me either. That was the painful part. The sentence that changed everything. And then, the moment came. I walked into the living room holding a tray of drinks. My steps were slow but steady. Conversations filled the air. That's when I heard her. Zara, my grandson's wife, laughing with her friends. "Oh, please," she said casually, pointing toward me without even looking properly. "Don't mind him, he's basically our servant." Time stopped. The laughter around her faded into a dull echo. A few people chuckled awkwardly. Some looked down. Some looked at me with pity. But the one person I looked at was my grandson. He stood there, silent. No anger. No defense. No respect. Just silence. And in that silence, I lost something I could never get back. The storm inside me. In that moment, my entire life flashed before me. I saw myself working late nights. I saw my wife selling her jewelry so we could afford school fees. I saw myself skipping meals so my family could eat better. I saw every sacrifice, every silent struggle. And I asked myself, was it all worth it? But strangely, I didn't feel anger. I felt clarity. A deep, sharp clarity that cut through years of emotional blindness. My unexpected response. I gently placed the tray on the table. No noise. No drama. Just quiet control. Then I looked at Zara. Not with hatred, but with calm truth. "Beta," I said softly, "a servant is paid for his work." The room froze. Every eye turned toward me. My voice remained steady. "But tell me, what do you call someone who gives his entire life, and receives disrespect in return. No one answered. Because there was no answer. I smiled faintly. Not out of happiness, but out of acceptance. Then I turned around and walked away. The decision that night. That night I didn't sleep. I sat alone in my small room, the same room they had given me after taking over the rest of the house. I looked around. A single bed. A small cupboard. A window with fading paint. This in the house I built. I picked up my phone and dialed a number. "Hello," the lawyer answered. "Yes," I said calmly. "This is Ari. I want to finalize the ownership decision of my property." There was a pause. Then a respectful tone. "Of course, sir." For the first time in years. Someone still called me sir. The truth they ignored. They thought the house was theirs. They lived like it was theirs. They treated me like I was living in their home. But they forgot one thing. Or maybe they never knew. Legally, everything still belonged to me. And now, it was time to decide who truly deserved it. The final gathering. The next evening, I called everyone into the living room. The same place where I was humiliated. The same place where my silence had been mistaken for weakness. They sat down, confused and uneasy. I stood before them. Straight, calm, unshaken. "My name is Ari," I began. "I am 63 years old, and I built this house with my own hands." Silence filled the room. "Last night I was called a servant." Zara looked down. My grandson clenched his fists. "But today," I continued, "I want to correct that misunderstanding." I placed the documents on the table. "These are the ownership papers." They leaned forward. Anxiety in their eyes. "I have decided to donate this house." "What?" My grandson stood up. "To a shelter," I said, "for elderly people who have been forgotten by their families." Zara's voice trembled. "You can't do this." I looked at her calmly. "I already have." The moment they broke. Tears filled my grandson's eyes. "Dada, please, we're sorry." I looked at him. And this time I didn't see a child. I saw a lesson. "You were silent when I needed you," I said quietly. "Now I choose silence for myself." Walking away with dignity. The next morning I packed my small bag. No one stopped me. Maybe they didn't know how. Or maybe they finally understood. I walked out of that house slowly. Not as a servant. Not as a victim. But as a man who had finally chosen himself. A peaceful ending, a powerful beginning. I moved into a small place near the shelter. It wasn't big. It wasn't luxurious. But it had something my old house had lost. Respect. People smiled when they saw me. They listened when I spoke. They valued my presence. And for the first time in years, I felt alive again. Moral of the story. Never let anyone reduce your worth, no matter how close they are to you. Love should never cost you your dignity. And sometimes, the strongest thing you can do is walk away silently and let your actions speak louder than your pain. My name is Ari. I am 63 years old. And the day they called me a servant was the day I stopped living for others and finally started living for myself.